So, continuing on this topic of how do you supercharge your life and maximize your success, in my mind, it is all about what your brain is doing. I talk about gratitude a lot. I don't talk about self-talk as much. However, I think it is just as important. And what I mean by self-talk is the conversation you're having with yourself. And if you've never heard of that before, that might sound strange. But we are all talking to ourselves, whether we realize it or not. And the conversations we're having with ourselves almost entirely create our reality, how we see the world, how positive or negative we are, how other people react to us, how successful we are, whether we manifest the things we want. All of those things are completely related to what our brain is doing and the conversation that we're having with ourselves. So that's a little scary, but the great part about it is we have complete control over that conversation. So how we manifest the reality we want through having the right conversation with ourselves, to first of all be mindful that we are talking to ourselves, and to second, change the conversation in the direction of what we want to happen. So a great example of this is before I realized I was having a conversation with myself years ago, my wife and I would have a disagreement like married couples do. Then I would go for a 2-hour run and continue to argue with her in my head for the entire 2 hours. Not even thinking about it. Just, I would say something, and then my brain would fill in her response. And after 2 hours, I'm in a dark mood because I've been arguing with my wife. And obviously, in hindsight, that's not fair to her. That's not fair to our relationship. She may not feel any of those things or have said any of those things, but my brain interpreted that conversation as reality. So when I realized I was doing that, then I would go for a run, start that negative cycle, catch myself, and replace that with, that's not real, my wife loves me, she wants me to be happy, I want her to be happy, and I would think about something else, change the conversation. So that's called a positive affirmation, and you can do that with anything in multiple different ways. But the key is to be aware that it's happening, to catch yourself, and to replace the negative thought with a positive thought. Very easy to say, much harder to do. Again, like all of these things, the key is consistency. So the first time you do it, you're going to be frustrated and annoyed. It's not going to feel good. You're not going to want to do it. But your brain wiring will change to the point where you automatically go to the positive thought instead of the negative thought. And like gratitude, like the other mental techniques I've talked about before, this will supercharge your life across the board. If your set point is here in terms of a success positivity scale, cultivating a positive conversation with yourself will put your set point here.